So this is the beginning of Laws of Babylon. So I've done a few interviews with people, but the quality wasn't that great. So now I'm looking at trying to uh, touch everything up and get things looking as if I've had more practice at it than I should have. So here's this will be a first short story. It's not really a story. It's not really not a short story, but we'll see how it goes. So there's two types of people: those who can see and those who can't. And nobody can tell which is which. Because those who can't see who they can't see. And those who can see can't see what it would be like not to see. That's what happens in a relative morality. It's like putting a fog in the haze and dreaming big and asking a genie for the best question to ask the genie. Why would you will the world up as smoke and not see yourself as smoke? Smoke and mirrors is the basics of all card tricks. If you don't know how it could be done, then you won't stop to guess. Some people like to pretend they can do magic. Some people pretend like you did magic. And some people will pretend they know the magic behind the magic. And everyone else will pretend they can. And that's what happens when no one believes in themselves. Playing cards only lasts so long when all that could be asked was a picture. To draw a photorealistic image is seen as not creative, but to do it in chalk and nobody really notices it is much better. And to do it as a picture of an image of how you would see my creativity to be. And me saying that was precisely the point. Because my stories from real life are just photorealistic black and white images. The image itself was my dad's favourite character from his favourite TV show. The show's name resembled me, and the character's name described part of a colloquial for the perfect representation. And all I got was a passing look, because to describe the art kills the art. And to talk up your own art is to corrupt other people's view of the art. It's like politicizing people's imaginary life. But no dream worlds are separated from each other in this life. Dreams lead to interpretations leading to dreams. Not much changes, but boy do we picture things in our head more vividly until we shake out the screws. The more you hold on to things, the more the roller coaster whirls. It's a pretty dark and stormy night when that's all you've been doing. But I honestly thought of bringing Halloween to its full annual special, because you can find that kind of news every day, which means just like in English first language speaking Western campfire folklore is where we get our myths of the modern era. We tell ghost and horror stories in the dark, but we give the characters the names of a few at a time of the people around the fire. In the news today, it's done similarly. You see on the borders of your narrative where things you read don't make any kind of sense to you. That's the stuff on the great modern fiction. That knowledge is surmountable, and the programming languages you rely on, that knowledge is surmountable, and the search for it is self-defeating. When the stuff isn't making sense, that's when you have to look at what programming languages you rely on but don't yet know yet. Because those old people are dying out, and we've got to know how to keep the machine running, but oil the cogs and tighten up the gaps. It can't be hard to think about doing while it's running, and learning how to change hands effectively costs extra these days too. Which is hard to think about considering lowering friction costs its own friction. I can't believe that certain things are allowed in fiction, but fiction is not allowed on some social media. Absurd. People are taking things way too literally when you can paint a picture in their heads that makes them fight with shadows. They border off a whole class of people who weren't in on any in-jokes. But the people on the outside that have in-jokes ride them like horses blinded by carriages. They can't see who's coming the other way.